And we're live. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is Monday Night Live and it is the first show as the international season officially begins because we have basically a full Springbok squad in camp. We have the end of the URC. We have a week ahead of Springbok preparations because the first Springbok team of the season will likely be named either next week Tuesday or next week Wednesday. So we are now firmly into Springbok season territory, and it is the international season that's going to be pretty incredible because if you look at the fixtures, I mean, we've got Wales now, then we've got a double header against the All Blacks in South Africa, we're going away against Argentina, we're playing against Australia, and then we've got an amazing end of the year tour. So we are firmly sort of all full steam ahead with regards to the international season. We're going to have another press conference from Jacques Nienaber tomorrow, which will be the first one since the end of the URC. There is a first in-person press conference on Thursday. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring that to you guys as well. And it is now time to start talking about the Springboks because it is now, the time to take off the URC and unless you're a Greek or a Pumas fan, in which case you keep that jersey on. Everybody else, it's time to take off those jerseys to put on the collective Springbok jersey and start all back in the same team again. So after what has been many months of pretty vicious and pretty passionate rivalry between all the various South African fans, it is now time to sort of all get behind one common cause, and that is the Springboks, and hoping that they can pull together a fantastic series against Wales. Hopefully we're going to see a lot of new faces. We're going to see a lot of big performances. We're going to start seeing a bit of the future in terms of preparation for 2023. And we can really sort of, after this weekend, after Saturday especially, we can really sort of firmly bury the domestic season. And we won't have any more domestic rugby for a few more months. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But let me know how you guys are feeling, Stormers fans. How was the celebrations over the weekend? Bulls fans, are we still very bleak about it? Are we over it? Are we now sort of all concentrating on the Springboks? What are we feeling? Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how your Monday's going. What your plan is for the week. Let me know if you've got tickets for any of the Bok games, which Bok game you're going to watch. Let me know in the comments below. I see that we've got a couple of people in the comments. Salvescat says Jasper Wiese is the best 8 in South Africa. KPMG, or welcome to everyone squad. Hope you're well. KPMG saying outside South Africa or just South African. Good evening, Captain Crunch. Hope you're well. How's Grant? How's the team and all the Stormers URC champions? Blind and Paper Space saying, I've been looking back on the URC and we seem to have got 115 that hasn't been given any chance till he went to Benton and Rainer Smith. He was amazing. It's a very good point, actually. I think that move to him was pretty perfect because he went over there. He's got an opportunity. He's playing very free rugby, and I think he is a player that, if you just give him the keys, he'll drive a truck anyway. And he has been playing very well. When is the stadium fully open? Which stadium is going to be used for the July tests? The first game is at Loftus. And then we have got then we go to Bloemfontein. And then we're playing in Cape Town for the 3-box test against Wales. And then we've got first All Black test at Nelspruit on the 6th of August. Then it is Ellis Park on the 13th. And then we've got Argentina in Durban on the 16th of September. So we are ticking out pretty much all the cities. No Gqeberha this year, unfortunately. But good to see Nelspruit getting a test. And especially good to see Nelspruit getting such a big test. But also at the same time, I think that's probably the luxury with having 2 All Blacks tests. Because you always want to play the All Blacks at Ellis Park. Because that is our stomping ground. And that's the best opportunity for us to beat them. But having those 2 tests, Nelspruit as well as Ellis Park is probably quite a nice combination to have. So Louis saying 1 Kitsoff or Ox, 2 Draven Marks or Bongi, France Trevor Koch or De Toy. As much as it hurts losing the Currie Cup semi-final and URC final one weekend, but big congrats Stormers, and even more so the Pumas. Good evening, hope to be well. I'll take Green over to Rainer Smith. Locks who starts. Yeah, we're going to talk a bit about that. Steve, you're going to the Loftus game. I'm taking a train from Joburg. Yeah, so the unfortunate thing is that if I go to watch games at stadiums, I can't watch games with you guys. And so the reality is, in order to be able to do what I do, it does mean sacrificing going to games. And one day we'll hopefully be able to find a way to sort of be able to do a bit of both. But short answer is no, I'm not going to the Loftus test. I did have tickets. My brother got tickets for us all. My entire family is going. but I will be staying behind and covering it here on the channel. Unfortunately, with the South African infrastructure, we just can't do that much on the fly because signal drops, especially when you go to stadium, stuff like that. There's no Wi-Fi. The signal when you've got 50,000 devices on it is pretty terrible. So unfortunately, it's just not reliable enough. If we did have a reliable system, then maybe we could look into it, but we just don't yet. And we have tried to do it, it hasn't really worked. Ruben says, the Bulls fan, which didn't show up, we deserve to lose. I'm looking forward to the international season. I'll be watching the first game at Loftus. Where we go. Predictions starting 23. I'm in Bloemfontein watching. Difference between Bulls and Stormers was mostly Galant. And of course, Jake White's rubbish strategy. Mine says, Barbarians crushed England, Japan, got a comfortable win over Uruguay. So I was going Kitsi, Bongi, France, Eben, Luet, Sia, PSF, Toy, Jasper, Faf, Polly, Mapimpi, Delendi, Chezi, Gaza. I don't think you're far away from what we will see next week. I don't think we're gonna see Damien at. Depends. Are you going Gaza as Damien Willemse because his nickname is Gaza, or are you going Galant? I'm assuming you're going Willemse. I'll be very surprised if Vincent starts fullback. I think he'll be at number 23. He'll be our young favorite team. Take us to the stadium. I'd love to. Why not get Chongs to cover for you? Yeah, I'm hopefully gonna get Chongs back in the driving seat of one of these. He's had a very busy year as Lecanio, so I need to get him back on. We're hopefully going to be relaunching the fan forum on Thursdays, which we used to do last year, which is very popular, where we get a couple of people onto the channel and stuff like that. I've got a couple of bigger guests that I have lined up, a couple of nice journalists and stuff like that we want to try and get onto for those shows, which would be quite cool. So we've got so many big plans for the international season, I cannot tell you. We had a long meeting this afternoon talking about the channel and stuff like that, and a lot of planning and stuff. So the original programming and more will be coming back. You know, we're going to be having player rating shows. We're going to be having combined 15s in between games. We're going to be having 5 things learned going to be coming back. We're going to see... What else have we got planned? We're hopefully going to try and get more of you guys involved in terms of submitting your predictions, stuff like that. We might look at doing a prediction game, for example, our own one. Yeah, we've got a lot of plans. And we'll hopefully start running them out throughout the week. Vic says, good choice to watch with us. It'll be massive growth for your channel, block games, been crazy views, comments. Oh, that's the thing, you know. I think we just had to have a very honest discussion and sit there saying it's too big to miss out. Especially on the back of this weekend. We now need to break those numbers, you know. If we go and sit there giving the first 100k view video, which we've gone past, by the way, so thank you all you fantastic people. We need to keep doing that, you know. So we need another Springbok game to be another 100,000 view video. So Dennis says Chuka is mid. Box starting team is pretty much settled. Only number 8 is competitive. We're doing the player ratings. We will bring them back next weekend. Box have much too strong squad for a very average Wales squad. I see 2 relatively easy wins with the core 23 and some experiments in the last test, reckons Farid. Clint is saying, I bet that if Kalan stayed at Bulls, he would be an outside centre. We transfer Stormers after his transition. We would have seen 12 guys at 13. Kalan, maybe Kalan's nickname should be Galactic. Kalan's nickname is the Boogeyman, which I quite like, actually. See the rumors of Billy heading back to Cape Town. I'm going to talk about that. Saturday's match showed why Alex is so much better than Ruiz. Grant says need to get Lacania back so he can explain himself about his feelings about Dobbo. Fun fact, I actually messaged him when he posted the results on his WhatsApp status, and I said, so what's the Dobbo chat? And we had quite a good laugh about it. So yeah, he needs to account. We need him to account. Kalan's probably coming off the bench. Willie will be starting. When are you doing a collab with Squid Rugby? Yeah, we should actually. It was a good idea that I actually meant to sort out. I'll try and see what we can do, shall we? But yeah, obviously just what I missed. Nothing. We're literally just getting started. Do you think RK Stamen will be back for the India tour? I hope so. We need to see him back playing some rugby first, don't we? But I'm trying to see what how we want to do. Daniel Ho saying Ulrich's better than Ruiz, better than Chituka. I mean, yeah, I think that whole number 8 selection is going to be very interesting. And we're going to talk about that quite a lot because I think that's going to be sort of the big coup. I think the 8th man and fullback are like the big sort of discussions at the moment. After that, the entire side's pretty settled. So we'll talk about it in a moment. Like I said, I'd like to see Clan start in the third game. If both Pollard and Yankees are injured, who do you choose at 10? I don't know, actually. I mean, in terms of who's in the squad, Damien Willemse is the obvious choice, as the only one who's really played 10. If you start bringing in somebody in, then you're looking at one of Chris Smith, Mike Liebach, or Jordan Hendrickson. If they're both injured, I'd probably go with Chris Smith, because I think he's probably the safest option in terms of what you get. I would have liked to have seen Hendrickson part of the squad, because I think he would have been a nice developmental player to start bringing in. I expect much the same 23 with Nicolante Newby off the bench. Katrina's going potential backline of Faf, Polly, Esterhazen, Dukes, Pimpy, King Colby, Hendrickson, Willemse, Galant. Yeah, I think you're dreaming there. I'll be against Chris Smith backing up for Ted. I did read your comments, Dave. Maybe the new Jay Peterson. Yeah, I like the comment. I like that comparison. I think it's pretty apt. I heard Lindy might be coming back to SA. This is true. If Clarkson can't get World Cup soon, Ori or Norkia would go to the World Cup instead. Potential later. 12-13 Commodore, SAs and Dehanti. Yankees is injured. If that's the case, bring in Liebach and did France stay and teach Liebach how to be consistent. No. So look, he's fine, and he's been cleared as well, by the way. At this rate, it sounds like they've reached a settlement. Where Alton Yankees going to pay for whatever the damage was to whatever actually happened. Not that we've actually heard much about it. So he's completely cleared from this stage as long as he does pay it back. Then there'll be no charges pressed or anything like that. So he's completely cleared to play. Pollard at this stage is fit. So in theory, we've got 2 fully fit Flowerhouse. But if that changes, then we'll have to reassess, won't we? Tian says lowest work rate on Saturday in the tight and loose and then organised the defence was Familianisk. Wouldn't look out of place in the matchday squad, I'd reckon. Well, I think that they've recognised quite a lot about that. Albert Lowe is a very non-flashy player, which is why I think that he's suited to the Springboks, because he's not particularly in your face and he's not like massively sort of X factor and stuff like that in terms of his pace, stuff like that. He's a very solid ball carrier. He's a very good defender. He's got a very solid skill set. I think he's quite aware. I think he's a very good all-round rugby player. And I think that's probably what put him ahead of Ruus in that first sort of training camp that they had. Vic says Bosch couldn't be a bad shot for backup if you hide him on defense. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Very says Quiz needs to slow down his narrative. He's all over the place and throws in very good comments with absolute rubbish. Would be better structure and interaction with Squid on specifics. Yeah, look, I'm not sure. I'm definitely not going to criticize the biggest rugby tube on the planet. I mean, his numbers are off the charts, and he does know the game better than most. Rassie Erasmus has endorsed him. Anybody that's Rassie Erasmus endorsed is doing a lot right, and I think he's had something like 25 million views on YouTube. I enjoy him though. I enjoy his good sense of humor. There's the 2027 World Cup could be a loose chair. 6 Vincent, Low Russ, 100%. That'd be a very good one as well. Pixie Bootlays coming off the bench as well. Louis going Ox, Bongi, Trevor, Eben, Lewis, Sia, PSF, Toy, Quacha, Faf, Andre, Fassi, Damien, Colby, Fassi. You got Fassi there twice, chap. Mark, Kitsi, Koch, Master, Nokia, Ulrich, Yankees in the center. Do you think it's another chance the box will start someone like a Nokia next to Etzebeth? Right, so let's talk about Springbok selection, sorry, because I think that I think that's what everybody sort of on about. So, look, I mean, when it comes to Springboks, I mean, if we're looking at our starting front row, I think we need to look back at last year. And what did we see? We saw Bongi, we saw Ox, we saw Trevor. And there was injuries to Frans Malherbe, which sort of complicated that a little bit. But I also think that Trevor Nyakani is playing some of his best rugby of his career. I would then start Frans Malherbe. So I think Frans Malherbe comes back to the starting lineup, and you've got Frans Malherbe, Bongi Manambi, and Oxen Chair, probably. And then I think you'd have a replacement front row of Malcolm Mark, Stephen Kitsoff, and then Trevor, because I think that they'll have a very good impact off the bench. The alternative is you can start Kitsoff and bring Oxen Chair off the bench, for example. But look, I think Malcolm Marks, arguably one of the best, if not the best hooker in the world last year, has been incredibly off the bench. And we need to move away from that idea of the best player has to start because they have to play the most minutes. I mean, last year, statistically, Bongi Manambi and Malcolm Marks basically played the same amount of minutes. And yet, somebody who's so good over the ball and so good in the loose players, for me, needs to be on there towards that stage of the game where it does start to open up a bit more, because it really suits. It just plays into our hands. So I've got absolutely no issue with Malcolm Marx finishing games at all, especially when you consider the idea that they are finishers as opposed to just substitutes or reserves. So yeah. To read Artie Severe, yeah, definitely. Albert Lowe will be the first low back of the box as the days of Francois Lowe. Pepsi is too good not to be in the to not be in the box, but our talent amongst the Lucy's are far too great for him to get a chance. Who do you even drop? Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Box of the best depth in the world, says LB. No problems up front. Start the shortest row and finish the tall row. The double door fridge must start. He doesn't function when coming on as a sub, 100%. That's why I would start France. I would start Francois Herbert because he does need to start. He's one of those players. Tian says dropping Vince Cock after performance, putting his gains in the Premier feels harsh. The woes of having too much tight head depth. Well, that's literally the problem, isn't it? Because last year we didn't have Francois Herbert, so it's easy to put Vincent Koch into the side, but Francois Herbert was the incumbent tight head. So if you're gonna drop, and he's a very important player to the box as well in terms of the way he organizes defensive work. So you have to drop one of Koch, Francois Herbert, or Trevor. Trevor being so versatile, he could also be a backup Lucid, for example, but then you're dropping one of Ox or Steven Kitsoff. So. And for me, Trevor has to be in that squad. I mean, what he did last year, he was just at a different level, an absolute different level. And we haven't even mentioned someone like Thomas Latoy, who's been one of the standout props of the URC. So our front row depth is, I don't think there's another side of the world that has the front row depth we have. So it's so difficult to try and get in the everybody in there. Vic says, I don't know about Herbert's work rate this season. Scrummaging hasn't been that flashy this season. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's ever going to be the flash to the players, but he's very good at what he does. There goes Albert saying that, and Thomas Toy also back up. Katana says, yeah, that's for utility call up. You can cover 13. Has done that for Western Province. Potential X Factor backline. 9 Williams, 10 Liebach, 12 Gaza, 13 Zas, 11 Weekend Special. Boogeyman, the other Kirtley. I wouldn't put Zas at 13. Not international level anyway. Wales is a good warm-up for box heading into the championship. Did you see a video of Wolves versus Stormers got 100k? Yeah, I was actually quite emotional this morning to look at it and to actually see how far we've come as a community. I was looking back and thinking back, because if you guys haven't seen, in fact, maybe I'll drop the link. We have relaunched a Forever Rugby channel, which would be like what we had last year, in terms of posting clips from press conferences and stuff like that. So I'll put it in the comments. So we relaunched that a couple of weeks ago. Forever Rugby. So yeah, so it'll be like last year. We will have clips to some of the press conference and stuff like that, maybe clips from these shows and stuff, all going up onto that Forever Rugby channel. So it'll be like a auxiliary rugby channel as well. So go and subscribe there. And the reason I mentioned it is because we posted a couple of old videos and people were saying the mic, it didn't sound very good and there was still lots to learn and stuff like that. It was quite funny because that video that they were commenting on was the Deontay one I did about 2 years ago now, I think. I think it was about September 2020. I think we had 300 subscribers at the time. And it was on this channel. And all of a sudden, we're sitting with closing in on 12,000 subscribers. I think we're sitting at almost 3 million views. We just had 100,000 view. So over 3 million views. Now we had our first 100,000 view video. It's incredible. And it's all thanks to you guys. So it was quite cool actually, just looking back at all of that. But anyway. God saying we still have Saudi and Wilco Low weights in the wings to destroy loose heads in the world. Literally. Are you surprised that the Tapiri brothers not being picked for the Springbok squad? And any South Africans in the Premiership that you would include in the squad? I'm not that surprised for them not being picked. Just because I think that we look at our lock and our pack depth is unbelievable. You want to put the two Tapiri brothers in, who are you dropping? And for those that are going to say Reynard Alstad, go and watch the season he's had in top 14. He's been absolutely immense in the top 14. Pixie Buthelezi can't get into the squad. Vincent Stuka, we don't even know what his eligibility issues, but he isn't part of the squad, and he could definitely be part of a box squad. People saying Honor Boyd to be part of a box squad. Dwayne Vermeulen is not part of this box squad. Not been dropped, but not part of this box squad. So you start to look at the type of players they can't. I mean, something like Honor Liebenberg, who won the Premiership on Saturday, can't get into the box squad. So you look at the type of players that can't get into the box squad. It doesn't surprise me that the players can't, because a lot of people can't. In terms of any South Africans I would include in the squad, I would have Tyron Green there, ahead of Kurt Lawrence. Personally, I think that two reasons. First of all, I think that overall, I mean, he was one of the best 15s in the Premiership. And I think that maybe more importantly, he is on the England radar. And, 50% of me says, well, if you want to play for England, go play for England. But at the same time, he doesn't want to play for England. He doesn't want to play for the Springboks, but some players might not want to wait. And selfishly, give him a cap. You don't want to hand it out for the sake of it, but you want him playing for South Africa. So maybe not even give him cap, but put him in the squad and say that you are on the radar, you are a potential future Springbok, and keep him in the setup so that he is available. Because you don't want to lose too many players for the sake of pride, for example. Biel noticed his Kitsov marks the toy starting. I hope we're putting a lot of work in the finals. All Blacks have the same front row depth. I'll definitely disagree with you there. I actually think that a lot of the front row. I don't know. I think the All Blacks front row has got work to do. I think that that's a potential place where the Boks can actually have a go at him. So I think they've got a lot of talented players, but I think that there's still a lot of the work they need to do to get back to the old. I don't look at that as a Wyatt Crockett, Owen Franks, Dane Cole, when Dane Cole's really start, or Kevin Milama and the buggers, when they just had a ridiculously good front row. I don't think that front row is the same for the All Blacks. I think that is a potential issue for them for this upcoming season. Louis going future 1 Ox 2 Fenta Energy Vessels. Vessels playing more hooker at the moment. Nokia, Ulrich, Pepsi, Vincent, Ruiz, Hendrickser, Moody, Rickus, 13 Lions, Youngster, Enkip, and Vake is the one you're thinking of, I think. 14 Fassi, 15 Green, Krobbelar, Sharks Prop, that's in Tutuk and Kuno, and 22 Zach Berger. I'm assuming you mean, but I suppose it is 6-2 split. I think a lot of those players are going to become Springboks one day. I'd like to see a lot more from Jan Hendrik Vessels. I think he was such a talented schoolboy. I think it's taken a while for him to really translate that onto the professional scene, but it'll take time. It says All Blacks just don't play foreign-based players, so lose front row talent all the time. Grant Swart saying that the front row is probably the All Blacks' weakest area. Captain Crunch saying Caleb Clark hasn't been that effective at test level yet. He had one good game against Australia. Yeah, Rugby says, hello, welcome, they come as Stormers, won the USC. Top Rugby Play says, one day I see you having your own post-game show where you get paid to operate out of the stadiums. Oh, isn't that the dream? Isn't that the dream, chap? Or else for this to be even bigger than that. That could be dream number one. Hopefully, but thank you, I appreciate it. Thoughts on who should be the starting number 9 and 15 in the upcoming internationals? Faf de Klerk and Warwick Kalant. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm pinning my colours to the mast. Jan Rox, another international series up next. David saying my team for the 3 tests, if we win the first 2, would be Ox, Dweber, Thomas, Murat, Nokia, Marcel, Captain, Lowe, Ruiz, Herschel, Alton, Fassi, Andre, Esterhazen, Creel, Kirtley, Warwick Kalant. I like the team. I can tell you right now, if that was the team, the Alton Yankees would captain it. But yeah, I can get behind that team, I wouldn't have Ox at 1, actually. I would have I'll probably just put Trevor at 1 just for shits and gigs. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I think Ox is gonna start anyway, so but yeah, I like that. I like the concept of that team. Or maybe Kwaka Smith more. It depends though, because I think that Kwaka should be in the 23 anyway for the first couple of tests. Louis, I'm sorry for the Stormers. Moses Hey Steve, this is the old Miltonian on Long Island. Can't wait till July 2nd. Yeah, even me. Cat Crunch says, I've heard they're planning on using him in the strike. Talking about Caleb Clark. Where's this All Black squad? Greece squad, that's rubbish. It's centres they lack. I'm not really sure that New Zealand lacks centres. I mean, Jack Goodhue is and David Havili are pretty decent. And Rico Aroni now being recognised as an out and out centre. But I wouldn't say they lack centres. But Scott saying, I would love to watch that team, let them lose and see what they can do. 100%. Steve, what do you think went wrong with the Stormers' attack in the last two matches that they played? They played poor attack compared to what we saw from the Thoughts. I think it's just playoff rugby. You know, you don't get, look, it was also wet on Saturday, which doesn't help. But you don't always, you don't get to play champagne, throw the ball around, take risks rugby, because the issue is, you know, if you make mistakes, stuff like that, it leads you quite open to counterattack, stuff like that. When Dwayne is all right, he's going to get dropped. I have no idea. I agree. Kirtley is good, but I think Tyron is better. What is your thoughts on what Jake White mentioned, that if he was in charge of the Sorry, he would not select any players outside South Africa? Yeah, we wouldn't have won this World Cup if we'd gone with Jake's thing. You know, I've got a lot of time for Jake White. Everybody should have a lot of time for Jake White. He won us a World Cup. But I think this whole harping about internationally based players is just naive at the end of the day. You know, welcome to the Lions situation where all your best players go overseas. I mean, you look at the Lions Super Rugby side and look at how they've been absolutely decimated. Get over it. Unfortunately, get over it. We've got to get to a situation where we can try and match contracts, but at the end of the day, we've got the two best sides in the URC in terms of how they did. And that is with all these players playing overseas. We had two South Africans winning the Champions Cup. We had a South African man of the match performance in the Premiership final. You know, we've got all these South Africans playing overseas, as well as all the new talent coming through our unions. And now we've all of a sudden got Greek taking on Pumas in the Currie Cup final. So, not to mention all the South Africans playing in Japan. So, I don't think it would work, unfortunately. I don't think playing for the Springboks would be enough for some of these players to remain here. You know, and then what do we? So then we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. We've got to be very aware of our reality, and that is that we've got the rand and we can't compete with the pound. But you know, but it gives us an opportunity for our best players to earn some money elsewhere and stuff like that, and then come back and add value to the box. I think his complaints about the overseas thing, he just needs to get over it. Suck it up and, yeah, unfortunately deal with what we've got, because if we start doing that, I just don't think we'll be as competitive. We won't be as competitive. Until if we had the same salary cap as top 14, for example, and as Japan, and you could earn what you earn over there here, then we can have the conversation. But you can't, you know, sentence these guys to earning next to nothing, not next to nothing, but significantly less than what they could overseas, with a dangle of Springboks for it. I just don't think it's fair. It's just naive in the current economy, especially on the back of COVID and stuff like that. You know, these guys need to capitalize on their careers as much as they can. I know we said, should Master consider place PSF to wear the number 7 jersey first? Nah, I want to see PSF Toy playing a string of games. He hardly played last season, so we need to see him playing. Balance the SAA team when these players need play time. In this first start, Kalan started at 11, scored his first try. What do you think about the Porter SAA games this year? Selection that could be interesting. Yeah, well, that's what I've been waiting for. We've been saying we want to see some SAA games. So all these guys can start playing, with all the fringe players start playing. So I'm hoping that we do start to get them. All Blacks don't pick their best. The coach throw away the talent. Franks is still performing, but they have a mental block once they drop you. Yeah, there has been that whole thing, isn't it? That once you do get dropped, it's difficult to come back. Who was better, Morning from Berg or Zach Berger? I think they're both pretty solid. Rusty will pick you even if you are 60 years old, whereas All Blacks never call anybody very short-sighted. Kirtley is a nice replacement to have if Colby gets injured. Deadly step with pace. Dylan Nate's having a good season top 14, 100%, whereas Cocker Smith playing now in Japan. As much as Malherbe is great scrum and tactical, I'm not sold on if he played off the bench, as he's poor. Tim Toy has performance off the bench, and Yukani as well. Cocker's like your starts. I was watching the Eastern Conference final of the Major League Rugby this weekend. I was surprised that the two All Blacks are in our local New York side. Albie says, almost got a 1.88, 110 kg wing in their squad. He's not fast, but he's a unit. Yeah, but they've always just got these absolute massive, gigantic freaks, don't they? They go and slap a number 11 on and just run over people. He's a youngster as well, if I remember correctly. Ferry says All Blacks lack centre at depth at inside centre, chased away their talent. What do you think about Jake White being a selector for the box like Joe Schmidt is for the All Blacks? Nah. Jake White must just do what he does at the Springboks. I'm quite happy with who we've got selected in the box. What is your team? My team is what for the box? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. All Blacks also got rid of a lot of their Irish players like Enna and Bridge. Playoff final rugby is not a test rugby. It's actually good preparation for the international. 100%. Johan says, Oren says a brilliant replacement if Colby gets injured. Plus, he isn't that well known, so other teams will think that maybe they have a jackpot. If Colby gets injured, then it comes Oren. Players going overseas, the evolution of rugby. We are the Brazil of rugby. That's a very good comparison, actually. I like that. We had South Africa man of the match in the European Champions Cup 2. See, look what we do. See, we just produce players. As I said, I just think development gets so good. Also, you've got players who are playing in different conditions, being exposed to other players, stuff like that. You get a lot of insight into other players and to other teams and how they play. I think it's just a win-win-win situation. Overseas players should be picked. It's time for maybe to grow up. You only pick the base for international teams. Agreed. Double says Travasek can get exposed. His game is complete. Brazil players go to Europe for money in soccer. Avilia now only probably best All Black centre duo records double. We should add rugby sports to the country's GDP. Yeah, 100%. Jan's saying, why didn't our players go overseas in 2009 in the glory days of the Bulls if the Rand was still bad at times compared to other countries and currencies? Look, there's bad and there's bad, eh? And remembering like how much money's been pumped into overseas clubs in the last 10 years, for example. Rugby is fast becoming very professional, and the money is. I mean, look at Japan, for example. That wasn't really an option in 2009. It's very much an option at the moment. Fabi says Havili is a makeshift inside centre. He's a brilliant fullback. Tavasek is still a work in progress, might not even making time for the World Cup. And Captain Crunch says the All Blacks don't scare me anymore. They lost against an Argentinian side. They trained via Zoom. This is the 2011-2015 squad. Tend to agree. Contender says Crusaders need to let Brandon in loose on the wing. Experimented backs. Contender, do you just spend your entire life just like picking teams on paper? I hate to see your exam pad. Carry Cup champ should play SAA. Do you think we'll play attacking rugby? I think we'll play a lot more expansive than we were last year. Stephen, do you think Super Rugby will stay together or split into two competitions? I think Australia's going to walk, I think Australia have sit there saying Super Rugby's not working. We're not growing rugby. We're not attracting massive audiences. So we are out of here. And I think that would be very interesting if they do, because it leaves New Zealand looking pretty stupid. And given the fact that they didn't want us to be involved, it would be quite funny seeing that happen. But let's wait and see. I do think that Australia need to make a play to get rugby going again. I'll go to the Box if you had Ackerman as the head coach, just by Swayze to pray and Gregor Townsend as the backline coach. Jeez, like it, mate. Do you want to find another attacking player to chuck in there as well? Can't wait for the CVC Springboks deal. That's going to be interesting, actually, that whole equity deal that we're looking to sign up. Hopefully give us a bit more cash monies. Really for Jersey 23 says contender the All Blacks team of this year is going to be a totally different animal. Always take to All Blacks only 2 years to rebuild. Watch the space. Well, let's wait and see, shall we? Why are we better in the URC than we are in Super Rugby? Super Rugby better league. Oh, I mean, it's completely different teams that we've got, let alone that the other teams have got. I don't think it's as easy as saying that they're different. That they're better or worse. I think lots have changed the last 2 years. Remembering that the Sharks, for example, were doing pretty well in Super Rugby pre-COVID. And the Lions had also made 3 Super Rugby finals before that. So we weren't doing badly. We just couldn't win the damn thing. Stephen, don't you dare great selections. I do enjoy it. Benani says evading franchise to privatization will likely give us the financial boost we need to go home. Yeah, I need like a shake to come in and basically just buy the Lions and just pump every last cent that they've got into it. I want the Lions to become the new Sharks. I mean, even if we lose, I just want to have cool players. Like go and sound like Anton Dupont. Go and bring in like Dan Bigger. SAA should play with our clubs. CVC deal. Yeah, so CVC, um, I've got quite a big rugby blueprint. I mean, footprint. They've got their own part of, I think, Six Nations. They've got stakes in the Premiership and the URC, and they're looking to buy a bit of an equity deal with SA Rugby. A bit like New Zealand were trying to do last year. And I think they basically just need a cash injection. So they're not selling the Springboks, but they are bringing more private investment. So and that's where CVC comes in. It's a company with pretty big commercial power. So there could be an equity deal that gets agreed with them. Which will see a lot of money being pumped into the Springboks, which will be really cool, and hopefully pumped into SA Rugby in general. Vic says Australia Super Rugby, this will be a negative for the Rugby Championship as well. More reasons for Sorry to try and join the Six Nations. Interesting concept, isn't that, actually, in terms of where we're going to play our rugby? Yes, you had the URC was basically mediocre. Yeah, look, I wouldn't say Super Rugby was tremendous. Mateus Leicester, Fanganuka in Jersey 23 for All Blacks. What do you think about the Silver Lake buying a stake in the All Blacks? Well, I think that they need it. They need it. I think it's a bit difficult to... Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a money game, isn't it? And if you don't have the cash to be able to compete and stuff like that, then you need to find it somewhere. Fareed says it's all about winning the silverware. Losing finalists often get moored home or away. What team do you hate the most of our SA teams? I don't know, actually. Who do I hate losing to the most? Probably Bulls. Really like beating the Bulls. Yeah. Anyway, a couple of other comments coming through. I'm just going to set a few because there are a lot of them coming through. And it's difficult for me to pick up all of them. Where we at? Katina saying Sean Everett should get sacked in Sharks as Ackerman or Stonehouse as coach. Pray for Lammy's mind to get him back playing. No, not happening. I'd like to see him at 10 and 12. No, he's done. He's done. So I think that Jimmy Stonehouse has to make a big move. He's just been doing too well to not have a real good go at one of the major teams. I'd love to be the Lions. I really would. I don't think it'll happen, unfortunately. But yeah, he does such good things with very limited resources. So I'll be interested to see what he did with lots of resources. Get NFTs for rugby going as a source of income. Interesting idea. If Hooker gets injured, Crocodile will enjoy it 100%. Elon Musk buying Racer Rugby. I like that. We do a preview of this year's Craven Week. I don't know. Maybe if I can find someone who knows the kids a bit better than I do, then maybe I could do that. But I don't want to give you guys a preview when I don't know them that well. And unfortunately, I just don't have time to watch a lot of schoolboy rugby. So, yeah, I'd probably prefer to watch some of the Craven Week and then talk about some of the players who I thought were quite good. Because if I can tell you right now, if I had to sit there giving you a preview, I don't know any of the players. I barely know any of the schoolboy rugby players. So I would just be lying to you. But yeah, so we're probably gonna start wrapping up. Yeah, I've got a lot of work to do tonight. So just go through the last couple of comments. Do you think more people will want to invest in the Stormers if they've won the URC this year? I think more people want to invest in South African teams in general. Actually, I hope so. Anyway. Lion Paper Spray says Greek was coach seems to not be talked about and led them to 2 straight playoffs and a potential final win. But it's a new coach this season. I'm trying to work out when what left. I think it's his first season in charge. No, when did he leave? When did Peterberg change? I'm sure it's Peterberg's first season. Or was it second season? You know what the problem is? The last 2 or 3 years have... That is the first season. Oh, wait. I suppose we had Curry Cup last year, didn't we? No. Yes. When was last year? He was announced in September. So... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is his first season. Trying to work out when the Currie Cup was last year. It was very long. Because it was Scott Matty and then he left, and obviously Albert Finn, he went to the Major League Rugby. But yeah, so anyway, so Grant's saying that he'd like to see Jimmy Strong as Sharks coach. Yeah, I think it would unfortunately probably the right match, which I'm not happy about. 7-12 Squeakers and Pumas need some cash, 100%. Jean says Jimmy to the Cheetahs and then the current Cheetahs coach to the Sharks. Boom, that's not a bad idea. Sharks getting Neopal, yeah, as director of Rugby. Rugby should go more in the USA. Thanks for the chat, Steve. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining up. How's your career match? Yeah, listen, my body's broken. I'm still suffering. So we don't go there. Jimmy should definitely move. Was it because of no offers, which I can't believe, or just love the club? Short to next year. It will always be impossible until it's done. Chris did a final concrete can't. Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between. I mean, Lambie, there's no cure for the fact that if he has another concussion, he's going to get brain damage. Unfortunately, it's not like it's a broken leg or something like that. There's just no cure. Do you know the Kings were the 8th man? What a player! I watched him this weekend. I was actually very impressed with him. I watched K-Day. Kingswood did get hammered, but yeah, I thought a couple of Kingswood players did play quite well. We would see a CFSF tour and Kutsia could be a great loose shirt for the first test, but I think it will be Kwaka most likely. I think it'll be Jasper you know. The Stormers winning a trophy is like Liverpool winning the Premier League. Their fans just won't shut up. Steve, do you think Sean Everett is the reason why Sharks' performance was poor this year? I don't think he's the only reason. I do think that a better coach would be a good idea, but I think it's unfair to put it all on him. Blind says, I hope for a stacked Kimberley to help the Greeks a lot, whether they win or lose. Any ideas what the URC prize pot was? Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. I mean, I'm just trying to find that. Somebody was asking the other day on Twitter, and nobody knew. Lou's going Pumas to win the Currie Cup. Lambie was always too soft for Rugby. Is always going to retire early, and yeah. But let's wrap it up there, people. Thank you very much for a nice pre-week chat. Always lacquer to jump on here and chat about rugby and stuff like that. We'll have more news over the week. Big news apparently being a big name is supposedly going to the Stormers next season. Rumors that it could be Damien Delindi. Rumors that it could be Villaroo. Rumors that it could be Luat Diaga. But John Dobson has confirmed that there will be a big name signing coming back to the Stormers. Well, didn't say coming back to the Stormers, coming to the Stormers, which opens the door for quite a few players. If I were to hazard a guess, I would say it's someone who's coming from either Japan or that was potentially going to Japan. So, for example, like Luat Diaga and Damien Delindi and the Buggers are all leaving Premiership / thing and going either to Japan or here. So, also, yeah, there are rumors that Villaroo has apparently built a very nice house down in the Cape. So, yeah, I think Villaroo will be a brilliant signing for Stormers. I'd almost be a bit upset if they bring Damien Delindi back because I want to see, and if they do, him as play him an outside centre because I want to see Damien Williams stay at inside centre and just flourish. But yeah, thanks guys. Have a fantastic evening, a fantastic week further. We'll be live again on Wednesday, so we'll chat a bit more then. There'll be a Springbok press conference out tomorrow, so we'll watch out for that. Shark Nino will be facing the media, and we'll have some more news as the week goes by. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as we try and chase 12,000 subscribers. And until then, keep well, and we'll see you guys all very soon.